I'm John Bell Edwards. I was raised in Amite, Louisiana as one of 8 children.
Our household was very busy, and as you can imagine, with 8 kids and their friends running around.
Between baseball and basketball and football games or dancing, between trying to get your hunting and fishing in and just your household chores.
Faith played a huge role in our household as we were raising our children.
As far back as I can remember, church was not an option. It was something that you did whether you wanted to or not.
We took up a whole pew every Sunday at St. Linda Catholic Church in Amite.
John Bell grew up hunting and fishing with his brothers.
Sometimes he would brag a little on his ability to outshoot Davy Crockett.
Well, he's right. I would say something like that.
If I remember right, John Bell on the firing range did fire as an expert marksman.
And in addition to hunting, he's always been one that was really big into the Florida Parish Skeet and Gun Association.
He was always a very good student. He was valedictorian of his high school. He went on to West Point. He was on what would be the equivalent of the dean's list, and he graduated in the top 10% of his law school.
The teachers loved him. He got picked on a lot because he never had to study too much. He just listened a lot.
When John Bell was in the 4th grade, we received a letter from his teacher telling us that he was a born leader and he could really lead the other children in the class.
He tutored. He helped in the classroom, outside the classroom. Fellow classmates could come to him and he would lend a helping hand.
Growing up for me, with 7 boys in my family and with the friends we had in our neighborhood, there was always a ball game.
High school quarterback, and he was captain of his team. He played baseball and was a very good pitcher.
His participation in athletics really helped develop his leadership qualities.
I knew that he had applied for West Point, knew that was something he wanted to do. I was also smart enough to know that the odds, of any one individual getting accepted into a military academy is certainly not good.
It was one of the proudest days of my life when I heard that John Bell had been accepted at West Point.
Well, West Point is not fun, but I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world.
It is not a college atmosphere. It's not a good time atmosphere. It's all about getting the job done. You go there for a purpose. You go there to serve your country and to learn the craft of being in the military and being leaders of soldiers.
West Point is recognized around the world as one of the premier leadership development institutions anywhere.
The Honor Code at West Point is one of the distinguishing features that sets it apart from any other institution in the world. A cadet will not lie, cheat, steal, nor tolerate those who do. And so we had an honor committee, and each class would elect from their peers their company honor representative. There was no doubt in my mind that the person with the most integrity in the room was John Bell Edwards.
Shortly after being elected by my company to serve in that capacity, the folks in the 36 companies and the entire brigade, that's all of the cadets at West Point, elected me to serve as vice chairman of investigations for the honor committee.
The decisions that he had to make affected people's careers and ultimately their lives and where they were going to be able to go in their lives.
Well, after I graduated West Point, I started Ranger training. Being a company commander of a rifle company, 82nd Airborne Division at Fort Bragg, North Carolina, was a tremendous opportunity for me to grow as an individual, to serve my country.
I started dating John Bell when I was in 9th grade. He was in 10th, and he was the captain of the football team and the pitcher for the baseball team.
She was on the dance team, and she was active in school, and she was in the Beta Club.
We became high school sweethearts, and we dated all through high school.
I can tell you it was December the 14th of 1981.
They'd sell these candies at school, and he'd have his friends, bring me the candy with a little note tied up and a little ribbon to my next class, So, yeah, he was fun.
He is a very good father. He was very active in each of our childhoods. He coached each of our softball teams.
He comes to my football, baseball, soccer games, and we do fishing and we go hunting together.
He's a very supportive dad, and he really encourages us to do our very best, and he supports us in everything we do.
Even if I throw like 3 strikes but they weren't at the right place, he's going to help me to get it even better like that.
I'm definitely Daddy's little girl. He means a lot to me. I look up to him a lot.
I love my dad.
I think faith plays a central role in John Bell's life.
He will be at church every week. with his wife and with his children.
It's extremely important to us to give that faith and that to our children.
We pray together at lunch, breakfast, and supper.
Even when we're on vacation, he always makes sure that we find out where the nearest church is and what time the mass will be and make sure that we make it on time.
Some Sundays we can't even sit together because we're each doing a part in the mass. Like my brother will be altar serving, and Mom and I will be singing the choir, and my dad will be reading.
They depend a lot on faith to hold them together, and they've been through a few things that really demand faith in order to get along.
I would say John Bell's best qualities are his integrity and how he adheres to his values.
He's honest, he's sincere.
Probably the most ethical person I've ever, been around.
He's smart. He's a very smart person.
Compassion for his fellow man.
He's extremely hardworking.
He's got a great sense of humor.
I think having a mother who worked in charity hospital system for a number of years had a profound impact on John Bell's life.
Nobody is exempt from having illness, from having injuries, accidents.
There are an awful lot of good people, hardworking people who, through no fault of their own, don't have health insurance.
John is extremely aware of the challenges that we face on a day-to-day basis in healthcare.
Being a teacher in the public school system, I'm able to come home and tell John Bell not just the great things that happen every day in our schools, but also, tell him the things that are happening in the classrooms with kids and, with parental support or lack of.
Different mandates, different curriculum changes every couple of years, different evaluation changes every couple of years, and just all of the things that are forced on our teachers, they really make it harder for them to do what they were trained to do and educated to do and what they love to do, and that's just teaching our kids. So I have an appreciation for what our teachers go through and really what heroes they are.
I really think he chose a life of public service because it's who he is.
He loves to help people and he gives back constantly.
John Bell fights for all of the people.
For our students and our teachers.
He fights for those people who don't have access to health care. He fights for those people who want to open, a small business.
He is for anybody who's in need.
He said, somebody has to be a lobbyist for the single mother.
I try to fight for those people who don't have lobbyists at the legislature. And all too often it's the middle class who are being squeezed with tuition, squeezed with fees, squeezed with taxes. And so we have to continue to fight for the middle class.
We need a governor that will put Louisiana first.
My dad will be a governor that puts Louisiana first.
John Bell will be the governor who puts Louisiana first.